From MTN News, this is Montana This Morning.
A fifth Montana man faces arrest for participating in storming the U.S. Capitol back in January. Coming up, what the FBI is saying about the man who's from Belgrade.
Health officials in Butte are loosening up some of the COVID-19 restrictions. I'll tell you how that's going to affect businesses coming up.
Well, good Wednesday morning. I don't know what day it is. All I could think of was it's St. Patrick's Day. So the day of the week becomes irrelevant after that, right?
Right.
At least, but I'm Holly Brantley, Chet Lehman, Matt Elwell here with me this morning. And Matt, what's our forecast shaping up like for this day? Are we going to see a pot of gold at the end of the rainbow?
Daytime highs should be back up near the 50-degree mark. It's beautiful outside.
Yep.
Typically, what we're dealing with this time of year is a mix of warm and cold, a little bit of snow. Who knows? It's kind of that mixed bag type of time of year. Daytime highs today should be near the 50-degree mark. And Bozeman planner calling for daytime highs near 50. Light wind, lots of sunshine for this St. Patrick's Day. Basically going to deal with pretty warm conditions for the rest of the week, but we do have a little change heading our direction. We'll talk more about that in just a few minutes.
Thanks, Matt. Federal court documents reveal a Belgrade man is being charged in connection with the storming of the U.S. Capitol in January.
Andrew Kavanaugh is identified by federal authorities based on photos and videos at that scene. The FBI says pictures of Kavanaugh wearing a tactical citizen's hat was used to help track him down. Now, Kavanaugh is the owner of that business, described in LinkedIn as firearms tactical instructor and security consultant. Kavanaugh is the fifth person from Montana to be arrested, along with two men from Dillon and two brothers from Helena. There are more information on the FBI documents on our website right now with a more in-depth look at the criminal complaint and the charges against Kavanaugh.
The state of Montana is making the biggest expansion yet in who can get COVID-19 vaccines. Governor Greg Gianforte says starting next month, COVID-19 vaccines will be available to all Montanans 16 and older. Gianforte says the state achieved their main goal of getting COVID-19 vaccines to the people most vulnerable to the virus, and with vaccine supplies continuing to increase, he says the state is ready to start offering vaccines to everyone 16 and older beginning April 1st. The governor says over the next 2 weeks, the state will partner with local health departments and pharmacies to get ready to start administering doses to this new larger population. He said every person who gets the vaccine is helping get Montana back on track.
It will help us get back to a more normal life, and one where we get together with friends and families without worry, where we can shop and go to restaurants without worry, where we can go back to our places of worship without worry.
Also highlighted the vaccine's role in returning to normal. He toured Renaissance Senior Care in Helena, where he talked to residents, family members, and staff about what it's meant for them to get vaccinated.
Well, 6:33, the Butte Board of Health feeling confident enough with the county's declining COVID-19 infection rate that it's ready to loosen some restrictions on businesses, and that begins this Friday.
MTN's John Amy has more on that news.
Butte health officials are loosening COVID-19 restrictions that will allow restaurants, bars, and casinos to increase their capacity from 50% to 75%.
I think it's great news. It's been a long year for all of the restaurants and bars and casinos in Butte.
The health board made the decision after the county showed sustained decline in rates of new COVID-19 cases. This decision came almost 1 year after non-essential businesses were forced to shut down after the coronavirus appeared in Butte.
We were closed down initially right during the State B tournament leading into St. Patrick's, so there was a lot of product that we had on hand that we just had to give away.
Places that serve alcohol will still have to close by 12:30 in the morning, but it will help some businesses to add capacity, though most are eager to go back to full capacity.
50%, that's not paying all the bills. So it's about time that we're able to move up, and we appreciate that.
And while COVID-19 made last summer a bust for most businesses, many business owners are feeling more optimistic about this summer.
I lost everything last year, and this summer is looking decent so far. So I have some high hope on that.
Butte's mandate requiring face coverings and masks will continue. In Butte, John Amy, MTN News.
Again, as John just told us, local mandates requiring face coverings or masks will continue in Butte.
Staying in the mining city, the Butte coroner's office has identified the man killed in Monday's explosion at a business in Butte. Officials report 31-year-old David Carpenter killed in an explosion occurred just after 4 o'clock in the afternoon at Biggers Transport on Wynn Avenue. Carpenter and another man were repairing an exterior oil storage tank located next to the garage at that business.
There was a slight hole in the oil tank that they were trying to fix with a welder and a grinder. It caused a spark and caused an explosion from the oil fumes, which blew up the oil tank.
Now the 54-year-old man injured in that explosion being treated for severe burns in Salt Lake City.
Montana Attorney General Austin Knudsen is one of 21 Republican attorney generals who signed a letter Tuesday objecting to the tax provision of the federal COVID-19 relief bill signed last week by President Biden. The letter was sent to U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen. It asks her to confirm that the new law does not strip states of their, quote, core sovereign authority, unquote, to implement basic tax policy. They're concerned about language in the bill that says federal COVID relief funds cannot be used to offset state tax reductions. It says that language could prohibit tax changes that states were considering even before the COVID relief bill became law. In fact, it mentions the proposal in Montana by Republican Governor Greg Gianforte to cut the state's top income tax rate. Knudsen was elected as Montana's Attorney General last November.
Here's a good one for you. Camp Rimini veteran and Race to the Sky sled dog co-founder Dave Armstrong recognized before Congress yesterday for his service to his country and to the state of Montana. Senator Steve Daines submitted the congressional record while Armstrong was joined by family and friends at his home on the west side of Helena. The World War II veteran is the last living member of the War Dogs for Defense program that occurred at Camp Rimini. Armstrong also celebrated his 100th birthday back in January. His son Mark says it's a great honor to have his dad recognized in this way.
He's just an amazing person. He's done a lot of amazing things. I could go on and on for hours about it. He's done things that, you know, most of us wouldn't even think about doing.
Now, when asked about the recognition, Dave Armstrong said humbly, quote, "It's awfully nice, but I don't think it's necessary."
What an impact.
I disagree. I think that's awesome. Thank you to Senator Daines for doing that in Congress, and thanks to Dave Armstrong for still being here.
Absolutely.
It's good stuff.
What an impact.
It's good stuff.
Well, coming up here, it's time for the American Kennel Club's annual list of the most popular American dogs. Coming up after the break, learn how there are a few surprises and at least one steady pup still on the list for 30 straight years.
But first, here's Anthony Mason with a look at what's coming up at 7 o'clock on CBS This Morning.
Good morning. Ahead on CBS This Morning, we'll have the latest on the deadly shootings around Atlanta. Also, CBS News has learned more than 13,000 migrant children are in U.S. custody after crossing the border without their parents. Hear about the difficulties many face as they try to get processed. Plus, production of CBS's popular daytime show The Talk is suspended amid allegations of racism by co-host Sharon Osbourne. How she's responding and when the show may come back. And Matthew McConaughey will join us to talk about his star-studded event to help fellow Texans still suffering from last month's devastating storm. And we'll also ask the Oscar winner if he plans to run for governor of Texas. All that coming up when we see you at 7.